It's time for the 1430 Connection on 1430 WNAV and 99.9 FM, spotlighting news, newsmakers, and important community issues. Now, with this week's edition of the 1430 Connection, here is WNAV news anchor Donna Cole.
Welcome to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me today is Mayor Gavin Buckley. Just hit over a year as mayor of Annapolis. How does that feel?
Yeah, Donna, it's been a great year, so it's exciting, new stuff, you know.
There's been tragedy and there's been triumph. And today, Time magazine, I don't need to tell you, you're already aware of this.
We've just found out that the Capital newspaper team are going to be honoured on the front page of Time magazine. So as a mayor, obviously, I'm very proud. The incident that happened is very personal for us. We know the journalists that survived. We know the journalists that were killed. And so to see them recognized and understand that, you know, this was an attack on free speech, that, you know, journalism in this country is going to be changed forever because of what happened. It's just great to see them get some attention.
To be able to work through that tragedy, to be able to work through that horror that none of us can imagine have happened to us, and it did happen to them. They worked through their PTSD and they got the damn paper out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think how they had the courage to get up and do that. I mean, they must have just, I guess you go into a shock mode or something like that, but their commitment, and I say this all the time about, you don't do that job for the money, you don't do it for the fame or anything like that, because you don't even get in front of the camera, but they do it just because you love what you do. And so to be have your life in danger like that is just so wrong, you know?
So after a year now, you're looking back, your proudest moment and your not so proudest moment. If you could change one thing and wipe it off out of the record books, what would it be? I think we've got the city on sound financial footing. We've brought in a really good team with Teresa Sutherland and our new finance director to tackle the problem of a city that's been borrowing money to try to get out of debt. Mm-hmm. That doesn't quite work. So I would say what I'm so most proud of is that we are on the way to fixing the city financially. I am also proud of the team in my office who have been reaching out to the community to continue the One Annapolis theme. So if you don't see it all the time, but we are in communities all over the city trying to connect to people that some communities that have been left behind. The fruits of that work are going to show up year by year. So that's the most exciting stuff. On the negative side, I mean, people will say, "Are you okay after that bike path?" I didn't bring it up.
I think it was a good exercise. You know, people can say it's a bad thing, but I think, you know, I started a conversation.
You did
and
definitely do
we
that.
need to I united the merchants on Main Street. So look at the positives that came out of that negative.
So it was a learning experience.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the learning thing for me in the first year is when you come from the private sector, you're used to getting things done, you know, and it's not quite like that in government. And it's frustrating to sort of see how long it takes to make anything happen. So that's been a learning curve for me. I need to learn more on the communication front. I'm definitely spending more time with the councillors now. We've got a retreat coming up. We've been doing this one block at a time initiative.
Retreat in Annapolis?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You're being sequestered someplace, just this group, and nobody's leaving. The doors are locked until you all get along perfectly, right?
Exactly. I love my fellow councillors. We all...
Let me ask you, in the business, the restaurant business, and you have lots of experience there, were you the idea guy and then there was some other guy, maybe your partner, that would try to rein in those? Go ahead.
Yeah. I think, you know... well, my partner, you know, has tons of vision too, but he will joke about having to pick up the pieces afterwards and do the hard work. So I'll give him a shout out for that.
All right, very good. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with the Mayor of Annapolis on the past year and looking ahead to the future. This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We will be right back.
Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. I'm in the studio today with Mayor Gavin Buckley of Annapolis. He has started in year 2. Looking back, he said he's pleased with some of the stuff and the other stuff, looking at it as a learning experience, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely on-the-job training. I'd say becoming the mayor is like getting the keys to the car without any driving lessons. They give you the keys and say, here's the keys, don't crash it. And so, I had to do a lot of on-job training, but I put good people around me, and I think we're on a good trajectory. I think we started in terms of politics, we started pretty exciting. A lot of people got involved in politics after our election or during my election, helped me get elected, and then they jumped onto other campaigns and they worked hard to get the next set of people elected, and we got really positive results in this election. So I feel like we have a great team now. We have a new county executive, we have city council, county council, we have great delegates and senators elected. So, and I think that that's one of the problems. We have not been working together, and even no matter what party you're from, I think Maryland should be the model on how we bring the country back together, because Democrats and Republicans have to work together in this town or you don't get anything done. And that's how it should be, because we are neighbors. We basically want the same things,
So let's talk about one of those issues that maybe can cross party lines and should, because it's devastating to many communities up and down the East Coast, and it's brought on by climate change, and I'm talking about floods, nuisance flooding. We have a problem in Annapolis, and it's not going away. It's not getting better. It's going to continually get worse, same as Miami, same as Charleston, same as Boston. We have more and more nuisance flooding, and there is a group of businesses on Dock Street that experiences it more often than most, putting them out of business. The flood mitigation plan, you're looking at project years 2016 to FY 2023, is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
All right, so, and I'm going to read some of these Facebook posts from a person you probably know because it's a fellow restaurateur, Ryan from Pip's Dock Street Dogs. I know you're not on social media. I'm guessing you've probably heard about some of his Facebook posts.
I'm friends with Ryan, so yeah.
So you know about it. And I should tell you, Ryan this morning said, I said, look, I'm interviewing the mayor. What do you want me to say to him? One, I love his spirit and his forward-thinking vision for downtown and Annapolis as a whole. He said, I stopped keeping track of flood days and closings a few years back due to the fact that our last mayor, and that would have been Mayor Panelides, stood in my shop and told me nothing would ever be done about the flooding. Too many moving parts. That's a quote. From what I can tell, we closed earlier, didn't even open roughly a dozen times this year. I'd say that cost me minimum $6,000 easy this year. You know, as a business owner, how tough it is to make payroll every week, how tough it is to make the electric payments. I mean, $6,000 is a lot of hot dogs.
I mean, one day of closure is brutal to any business. It takes you a month to catch up. So I feel for those guys. Every time I'm there and I see them sandbagging their front doors, I see Storm putting the dam in his front door, I'm like, this is ridiculous. We can't keep going like this. It's not only hard for the businesses, incredibly hard for the businesses, but it's embarrassing for the city that we have to redirect traffic. People that come from out of town don't understand that we're not on top of this problem. So we're working as hard as we can to implement the city the plan for the flood mitigation plan. It is only going to take care of our situation on the short term. It takes us to about 3.5 feet. But then we have to think about what is the long-term plan. So the long-term plan is sea level rise. Every community's having to deal with this now. We have an opportunity, I think, to partner and work on a strategy with the Naval Academy. They're moving forward on their ideas. We might have to bring in some private capital to make it happen. But
Mayor, you know as well as I do, I mean, you're looking at project years up through fiscal year 2023. And as Ryan wrote in one of his most recent posts, I honestly don't know if PIPS will be here. If and when City Dock revitalization happens, it'll be many years before we see anything. So, Mr. Mayor, in the meantime, how about repairing and raising our sidewalk curb? # throw us a bone. I mean, that's an easy fix that might solve his issue along with and Dock Street along with Storm. That's an easy fix. That's not millions of dollars.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I will go in with David Gerald and grab a Philadelphia cheesesteak from Pips and have a talk to them about it. If there's some short-term band-aids that we can do to sort of help relieve the stress that they're under, we should be doing them. So and even we had the boat show present an idea that they used during the 2 weeks of boat show that helped marginally with the backup on the storm drains. So if that's an idea that can get us there, or with a reasonable cost, we should do that. So I will go and talk to them about it this week.
I'm sure he'd be appreciative of that. And I will tell you, to back up to what you said, it goes beyond the city of Annapolis. It does. One of the floods that we had during the summer, we had 4,693 shares of a video that I put up of tidal flooding. We had people questioning whether they should cancel trips. We had people question whether they should cancel meetings. It does go beyond Pips, and it goes beyond Dock Street, and it goes beyond Storm Brothers. These are meetings that are affected.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I can't get this thing done fast enough, so we've had to negotiate the pumps on the south side. I think we have an opportunity now with the Burtis House, Sailing Hall of Fame leaving Burtis House, that could be an opportunity for a placement of those pumps on that side. So I'm hoping that we can work with the governor to get that building surplus to the city, and we can move forward with the Historic Annapolis ULI plan and create a good public space there and solve the flooding issue.
And deadline to submit comments has been extended to today, Friday, December 14th. Construction on the flood mitigation project Phase 1 on Compromise Street side of Ego Alley. It won't take away the playground. The basketball courts would be removed but replaced.
It's an exciting plan. So I think that a lot of times, you have to give something back that's better than what you take if you ask this of different communities. And so my son goes to that school, so we use that playground all the time. They were very adamant not to disturb the playground so it wouldn't affect the kids' recess, so we have stayed away from that. We have to dig the baseball court up because...
Basketball
court, because of that whole sump area that we're going to be doing. It has a very large kind of catchment area for the water. But when we give it back, there's going to be... we're excited about the chance to put a little spray park there. We're excited about a brand new basketball court and a connection to the boardwalk. We hope to put a crosswalk across Compromise.
Yeah.
And then it will connect to the next to the Fleet Reserve Club, and we'll beautify that. And so it'll be an extension of the boardwalk. You'll be able to walk across that crosswalk next to the Fleet Reserve Club, and then turn left, and then walk the whole of Ego Alley.
And you can find these plans on the city's website, and your comments are requested. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the Mayor of Annapolis. This is the 1430 Connection. Welcome back to the 1430 Connection. I'm Donna Cole. In the studio with me is Mayor Buckley of Annapolis. We're talking about Annapolis, all that's going on. We did touch on marginalized communities. Speaking of one of the recreational entities here in Annapolis that serves those communities, the Truxtun Park swimming pool, will that be ready to go? Will that be perfect once summer comes back around?
I'm very excited about the pool future. I'm not sure whether what the situation is and how bad we had to close it down a week early because it's been on life support for a little while. We have a great new design for the pool. It involves a slide, a spray park, a new clubhouse area, and you'll be able to project a movie onto the side wall of this new clubhouse. It'll be a great new way to sort of really reinvigorate our recreation department. I'm not sure where we are on the repairs of it. I'm hoping that we can get back up for the season, but it's been limping along for a long time.
So there's a possibility it won't be open for the season?
I don't know that, so I'm not sure on that. So I need to check on that. Yeah.
Okay. The funding I saw was not recommended for 2019. I'm confused on the priority scoring system. I'm confused that this is such a huge resource for many of these marginalized communities and keeps kids entertained and active during the summer months, and it seems to be... It just keeps getting Band-Aids.
Yeah, so it's a priority for us. I think Sheila was adamant that the money from the golf course went directly into the fixing a pool and a new recreation program. That's a top priority for us. So it will be amazing when it gets done. So I don't think it has been passed over for anything else. The money directly from the golf course will go directly into this initiative.
Okay, you had some stuff you wanted to speak about.
So I think that, our office looks like the city. It's diverse, age-wise, race-wise, income-wise, whatever. We have made that a priority, that we can't be a great community until we make a great community for all of our citizens. And so we've spent a lot of time in marginalised communities, making sure that people know that we're there for them and we represent everybody in the city. So we have initiatives that have never been done before. We had the first Day of the Dead event in the Design District. It was an amazing event.
Can you say that in Spanish?
Dia de la Muerte. Australians are worse with languages than Americans. So, but it's a great event. If you'd been there, there was all these beautiful kids with their faces painted, and there were food trucks, and there was great Latin music, and the atmosphere was amazing. Beautiful murals in that Design District.
And
if you get a chance to go in there.
To Mark,
So Councilman Mark Rodriguez, his initiative, Shanika Henson was there. It was a lot of kids from her schools. It was so much fun. Even though it rained, there were still tons and tons of people there. So those are the sorts of things that make this job so fantastic, when you get to sort of see these guys making a difference. Our new Hispanic liaison, Adriana, has been spearheading all sorts of initiatives like that. I think we have a good new African American outreach in Tola, who is getting to younger people in these communities to realise that there's hope, that there's opportunity, and that we're there to help them.
Adam's Ribs, speaking of businesses and restaurants, what are we doing to help them ensure that they're not going to be closed?
Yeah, I think that there's a debate on the size of Adam's Ribs if they go to 4th Street. So,
because that's a jewel of Annapolis. There's no other ribs like Adam's Ribs, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, they do a great job. I love Adam's Ribs. I think they're a great asset to the community, and they're a very popular spot. So I think there is some debate on how many seats that they should have there. I think that neighbourhood is feeling a little bit of pressure on how many restaurants are coming there, and we have to be respectful of everybody's quality of life when we make these decisions.
And the quagmire they're in is the shopping center is closing for a new project.
Yeah.
They're part of the shopping center, and they're losing their space, and they currently want to go into 4th Street. It's not been approved yet.
Yeah, so they want to go into 4th Street. They want to expand the amount of seats that they're allowed to have, and so that's the debate, whether that should happen or not. I'm sure they would have an option to go back into the shopping centre once the building is built as well. So I think, that's still up in the air.
Okay, I asked you about this last time I saw you. I don't remember what month that was, but I like those city manager reports because it's a nice comprehensive look at everything that's going on in Annapolis and how our money's being spent and what's going on with everything, the budget, with police activities, with fire. The last one, and I mentioned this to you last time I saw you, was that was put up on the web, was May 2018. It still remains the last one.
Okay.
I really like those city manager reports, and I'm sure I'm not the only one.
We're working on that for sure, and we're working on a thing called OpenGov, where constituents or the public can look at a very transparent budget so that they know what we're dealing with, and so that they can, when we get it finished, and I think the first phase of it is more in-house, but when we get it finished, you'll be able to go online, look at the budget, and say, well, if we took some money out of the police department's budget, how would that affect us? And so I think it's good if people can see what we're dealing with.
I don't disagree.
And people say the city's too big, and that really is because we have our own police department and fire department, and so the question is whether you want to compromise that. And I think we have 4-minute response times in this city. That's impressive. There's 10-minute response times in the county. If we thin out police and fire, it's a question of public safety, and I don't think you should ever compromise that.
Speaking of our police department, mold and mildew and leaking in the lobby, has that all been fixed?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I think that last time I was in there, and I went to all the fire stations and police stations for some holiday stuff, and it looked good. So we are on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mayor. Thank you very much for your time today.
That's great to be here. Thank you so much.
This is Donna Cole on the 1430 Connection. We'll see you next week.